Okay, so we are reading Robert Monroe's Far Journeys. We are on page 135 of the book and page number 73 of the PDF.
Click. AA moved among a large mass of beings of all shapes, sizes, and patterns. The crowd was so large that he could not easily perceive the other side, where it ended. None remotely resembled anyone he had known back home in KT 95. He dulled, disappointed. Were they all waiting to be human? All of them?
So,
AA's.
so now what is happening here? These are in the inner rings, and all these people are waiting to be born, right? As as it was mentioned previously, it can become addictive. So now you want to be born, but you always have to decide what is it that you want to experience in this earth life experience. And the planning center is going to match you up to the respective parents, to the respective life situation that you want to experience. So there is a waiting list, right? If the right circumstances are not there, then you won't be born. It is your choice. So now you can also go and say, I'm willing to be born as anything. I don't have any khwahish. I don't have any expectation. I want to just be born. Then you may be born earlier. But if you want specific lessons, then you are all waiting to be born.
All of them? AA spun his focus. A short human looking form leaned behind him. What? The form vibrated. Ident, routine entry dispatcher. Red, first. Call me Red. Red? Not to be confused with, sorry, wrong department. You must have joined in when I was busy. Need to get a rote on you so I can try to place you properly. Roll it.
So now this red, what is he? He is getting information from AA as to who is he and what he wants to experience so that he can be placed properly on the roster to be born when he needs to be born. So he very clearly says, I need to get a rote on you so that I can try to place you properly. Give me the rote. Yes, Rituji?
Yeah. Bhaiya, is this the same thing? But in Gita, they say that, you, because of certain wishes, you to fulfill your certain wishes, you're born again.
Exactly.
Is it the same
Absolutely.
thing? Is it in a different way they are saying it, but it's the same thing?
It is the same thing. We just discussed this. You joined a little late.
Sorry, I'll join you
Yeah,
later.
so we
Okay,
just
sorry.
discussed this. In the sense, someone asked the question that addiction, it says that we'll get addicted, right?
Okay.
So the more vasanas you create, the more you have to get rid of your vasanas. You have to transcend your vasanas, right?
Okay.
So what is it that you want to experience? ये बोलता है ना, you need to give a rote on you so that I can place you properly. Please give me the rote, right? Now, what is it? He's saying, what are your prarabdh vasanas? So in the Gita, Nagarji says that the most mature of your sanchit vasanas become your prarabdh vasanas for this life, right? So over here, this guy is literally asking him.
Yeah, I joined this.
Over here, this guy is literally asking him for what are your vasanas, so that I can place you properly, so that you can experience them.
Okay, thank you. Thank you.
AA opened and gave him the best rote he knew. Red lightened. KT 95? Hey, well, that's a new one for me. Haven't had a KT 95 since I've been here.
So now again, that means Red has been here for some time. Shimangla, your mic. So Red has been here for some time, and he has experienced people from various galaxies, from various star systems, from various civilizations, but he hasn't experienced anyone from KT 95. So what does this imply? That our reality is not the only reality that actually exists.
I don't believe there ever has been, AA replied. No records, only side road which doesn't mean anything. And you came in on a TSI cruise and you want to get the feel of it, huh? M-band noise got to you, did it? Well, no, AA flickered. Not exactly. You see, not important, Red cut in. Fast makes it easier to get you processed as a matter of rote. Now, first, which is your preference, male or female? I can't guarantee your choice, but I like to match it up with the entry point when I can.
So now, very clearly he's asking him, would you like to be born as a male or as a female? So he's asking for his choices.
AA blanked. Red vibrated. Oh, you don't know the difference. You are out of the woods. AA blanked further. That's a human expression which not important. I guess male or female doesn't make any difference in the long run, especially with you. So any particular entry point desired? AA hesitated, then decided New York.
So now he is not concerned whether male or female because he really doesn't understand the concept of male and female, because in KT-95 there is no concept of male and female. And because the TSI ship cruise took him to New York, that is the only city he knows. So he says that, okay, that is my preference for entry. So I want to be born in New York.
That's all? Just New York? AA lighted. New York it is, any available entry point. Either sex. Well, AA, that should make it fairly rapid for you. Of course, it would be immediate if you select Bombay, Calcutta, or a dozen or so other points. Lot of action there.
So now, because more people are being born in Bombay and Calcutta, that means India, the entry point into this country is easier than other countries. Now, having said that, New York also has a huge population, so there are many opportunities for entry into New York also. So he clearly says that since your choice is New York, you will maybe get there quicker.
AA dimmed and dulled. New York, at least I have wrote, I've been there. Red turned in and closed. Yeah, sure you do. Then he lighted briskly. Take this pre-brief route and focus through it all the way. You'll need to imprint your agreement and acceptance when you pass through the entry point. Ready? Red lobbed the rote and AA fielded it easily. AA probed the outer edges, then opened. Hey, this is complicated. You mean I have to sort through all this stuff? Red was closed. Yep. Why can't I simply go and be human? Why do I need all of this? Red went auto route. When in Rome, I'm not going to Rome. I'm going to New York. Red smooth. Oh, yes. Well, it applies anyway. It's the rules, kid. I don't make them. Now find yourself a quiet spot and run through it. I'll have you a general point. New York in no time at all. AA blanked. No time at all? I thought time was first run the road. Run the road. Red unfocused and was gone.
Okay.
AA,
So now what is happening? Shimangla, your mic.
what do I do? You tell me.
You have to mute it na, after you finish. So, so now what is happening? He is literally being given an agreement that he needs to read and stamp that, yes, I have accepted this assignment and I'm going into it with my own, I'm willingly going into this assignment, right? And there is a bundle, there is like a SOP for going into this earth life reality.
AA leaned back and let the road open. Agreement and understanding. Human sojourn only. First entry. Status FES. Organized as a school for compressed learning, successful graduates achieve tangent rating. For duration of human sojourn, firm agreement that time-space exists, has reality. Agreement of reality of particular entry point and its environs. Matter, planet Earth, Sun, solar system, galaxy, physical universe. Of time indicated at entry point. Of physical animate form designated as well as those of others. Of past events recorded as human history. Of complete biostructure as encountered. In order for learning system to function at maximum efficiency, temporary blanking of pre-entry activity is essential. Agreement to perform such blanking is hereby authorized. Anything to the contrary contained herein, notwithstanding, all FES remain fully established in freedom of will and consciousness at the entry point. This is guaranteed and is required by the compressed learning system in use. A final note of caution: certain aspects of the human experience may produce specific and general effects which may be harmful and
Okay. So now this is this is extremely specific, right? So he says organized as a school of compressed learning. So when you come here, this is like a fast track to experiencing and learning this earth life reality that we are experiencing. And any graduate gets, it's like a star performer. You understand? Because you've experienced earth life and you've managed to develop escape velocity, it means that you have achieved something. This is what he's saying over here. He's also very clearly saying over here that you're going to come into this physical reality at a certain point in time, and time and space will start to exist for you. Now, in the previous paragraph, he says A blank, no time at all. I thought time was. So what was he saying? In in KT9 ही था ना, हाँ. Yeah, KT95, it is not a time space reality based reality. So there is no time and space over there, right? So as far as A's experience is concerned, he has not experienced time and space. So in his view, time and space do not exist. But now when he's coming into this learning system or this school that we call the earth life reality, he has to experience time and space. Now, the other thing, very important, for this system to function at maximum efficiency, blanking of pre-entry activity is essential. So you will actually forget who you are. Okay. So what we discussed in one or two book readings before, what I explained about Bruce Moen's explanation, that when we start off, we are like this level of awareness. So this is our pre-entry status. When we make the entry, it becomes so much, right? And then when we exit, it again comes back. So we can actually uh, look at what our experiences were during our experience in this earth life reality and match it with what we had actually agreed to experience. Now, the next point, when we go into this system, free will is active. So that means You don't know who you were, but over here your free will is active. So you may have planned something here, but over here, because of your free will, you may end up doing something else, right? But that is also a very important part of this experiencing, right? And then final note, some parts of this experience, considering that you're coming from that awareness, when you come into this awareness, because you lose awareness, like it said previously, that it can become addictive. So if you don't remember where you came from, then you may get stuck in this. You'll keep going round and round over here itself and not come back to your this conscious awareness at this level. Okay, so very, very clearly it has been given here that this is a school for learning. It's a fast track. You will experience time and space, and you will have free will during this experience. Amazingly put, very nicely put.
AA release the rote, scare tactics, need them to hold back the mobs that would swamp the place with applications. Well, it won't work with this time. Can't get rid of old AA that easily. He refocused on a nearby form. How's it going? The form opened, then closed. Who wants to know? Ident AA from KT95. AA reached out, then withdrew quickly. Where you from? You don't want to know? Sure, I do. Your first time too, I guess. How? I mean, what made up your mind to give it a try? The form dulled. I didn't. AA blanked. Sure, you did. You don't understand. Here. The form rolled a rote to AA, who picked it up gingerly. The first layer was enough. A signed HSTIFES for retraining. Don't come back until you're better. Details enclosed in. The road grew too hot to handle. AA hurriedly rolled it back to the form, and the form reluctantly retrieved it. AA unfocused and turned away.
So now what is happening? This this person, this form that AA has encountered has been sent here, maybe as a punishment or as an exercise, right? It was not he that decided to come here. He was sent here and he's not too happy about it.
A big event, isn't it? A tall, thin form emerged from the haze. AA opened uncertainly. Yes, it is. After all the planning and preparation, I'm finally going to do it. Finally. AA blanked. Do what? Conduct my experiment. The form lighted strongly. I've studied every aspect of the human system. Incredible how much effort it took. Only state of consciousness I can test it in. It could change everything.
So
Really?
now this new form is going to conduct an experiment. And because of that, people are actually gathering to see that particular experiment. It seems because this that other form which dulled, and then this form is coming, A is coming. So many people are coming. Basically, I think they're all involved with the experiment.
Really? AA focused more carefully. What does it do? The form closed. Sorry, might spoil the experiment if you had wrote. Maybe we'll meet as humans. See you on Earth.
So now this form is also going to Earth to conduct an experiment, which he says could not have been conducted in any other reality.
The form faded, and as AA turned, he became aware of a tiny form huddled to one side. He focused. Hi. The little one was wide open. Hi. Going to make the big leap, huh? Yes, I hope so. AA blanked. You hope so, don't you know? The tiny form vibrated. I mean, it came so quickly. It was such a surprise. I'm still not used to it. It's really going to happen after I tried so long. You mean they wouldn't accept you? Wouldn't let you in before this? I guess not. I wanted to, but it never happened before now. A opened more. I thought anyone could just walk up and get in if there were entry points available. Oh no, you have to qualify. AA stored and scanned. Ident? The form flickered. What? Ident. I don't know what you mean. AA blanked heavily, then focused softly. If you'll run me your route, I'll try to help. I understand the excitement and all the anticipation. The form flickered more. What's a rote? Rote is information you have that. AA cut off, then reset. Where did you come from? The form lighted. Over there. It was easy. AA followed the focus. You mean the planet where humans are? Yes, yes. AA vibrated. Then it's not your first time. You've been human. There must be some mix up. No, no, there isn't. The form grew brighter. I've never been a human, but I've studied them a long time. I lived with them. They fed and loved me. And now I'm going to be a human. They tell me I've earned. I mean, learned it. And I'm going to be a good one. I know it.
So now, what is happening over here, right? Now, this entity that he's actually come into account, it seems has been an animal who has been in the earth life reality, but has never been born as a human. So here you're talking about evolution. So he says you can't just walk in, you have to earn that distinction to be born as a human. This is what our scriptures also keep saying, right? That it is a privilege for you to be born as human, so you need to utilize this birth to achieve something, make that connection, do that transition, learn and grow. That's the idea of why we have actually come over here.
AA gave warm support and swung away, then unfocused. He turned in deeply for some obscure rote that would explain it. Nothing. The haze was gathering into clusters, some large, some small. Each had wispy spirals of rote that brushed through AA as he wandered among the clusters. In KT95, that was usually a sign of poor discipline or at least leaky valves. Here, it didn't seem to matter. Further, there didn't appear to be any lessening of the crowd. If anything, there were more. This intermediate area was deceptive. AA decided, has a tendency to distort. What he pulled wrote as hundreds must be thousands, all jammed into the entry station. And that little mixed up one couldn't wrote anything, not even where she came from. She? What she?
So
Suddenly,
again, he doesn't have an understanding of she, right?
suddenly, an unusually large spiral reached out from a cluster and yanked AA inward. I need your help. I need your help. AA disengaged just as he was about to fall into the opening cluster. What's the problem? The form swept aside the last vestiges of haze. What are your plans after you enter? AA opened slightly. Why? To experience being human. The form vibrated. No more than that. AA rolled. I'm sure that'll be enough for me. Do you know what they're going through over there? Well, untold suffering, millions upon millions of them lying and deceiving one another, violating every known law, including the ones they thought up themselves, illusion upon illusion, digging deeper and deeper patterns. It's horrible.
So now, very clearly he is saying that we are stuck over here. We are not operating with awareness. We really don't know what we are doing. We've created a pattern and we are just rolling in that pattern and going deeper and deeper into the mess. Shimangla, you are muted.
AA began closing. I'm sure it's not as bad as you. The form vibrated more heavily. It's worse. I've been studying and observing them for centuries. Worse. AA blanked. Centuries? Now it's getting to a crisis situation and somebody has to do something and nobody is. So I'm going to. AA smooth. Do what? I'm going in there and change it all. I need your help to do it. I need yours and everyone else's I can get. Here, here's what we're going to do. The form threw a heavy rote at AA, who held on to it with some difficulty. The first layers not only shocked but astounded him. How could rote ever get so tangled and distorted? He turned in and closed. How to release gracefully? The solution came easily. He tossed the rope back to the heavily vibrating form. Sorry, I can't help you. I would like to, but I can't. The form vibrated. You can't? Why not? AA smoothed even further. Didn't you go through your pre-briefing? Yes, of course I did. The part about blanking all previous rote? If they do that, I won't have a rote of meeting you. Anything about what happened here. The
So,
form dulled, then closed.
so now this, what is happening? This form that he has made, this guy has been studying here and he has a lot of solutions in his head. And he's coming here to rectify the world, right? And he's attempting to garner support. But A understands that bhai, aaj hum jab wahan jayenge, when I go there, my memory will be wiped. So how do I remember that I even met you? So how am I going to meet you and help you?
The form dulled, then closed. The haze settled again in a cluster around him. AA unfocused and continued his float among the clusters. He became cautious and avoided all the larger exuding roach tendrils. The others he moved through, picking up fragments of events, patterns, states of awareness totally inconsistent with those of home, KT 95. Suddenly, a quick, sharp percept drove into him. Ident AA, Ident AA, ready for you at entry portal. AA spun quickly, focused on the signal, following it through the haze and clusters. Looming through the haze was a large vertical slot, vibrating with a vivid energy AA had never before perceived. Red and Ed were waiting beside it. Red vibrated, all set and ready, ident AA. AA flickered. What do I do? Ed leaned in. Imprint here. Acceptance and agreement terms contained in pre-briefing. Two carefully controlled spirals emanated from Ed. AA sent his own spiral in between them, then activated. Ed pulled back the spirals and leaned back. AA vibrated very highly. What do I do now? Red hit it hard and high. Jump, jump through the slot. AA jumped. Click. Intense contraction, constricting, overwhelming signal input of unknown types, coming from parts of him he never knew existed. Trapped. Can't get out of here. Nothing works. Can't get anything to work right. Not what I expected. It hurts. What's hurt? What who expected? Turn down the signals. Turn them down. They're tearing me up. Too many of them. Too strong. Help. Somebody help me. Trapped. Please, please, somebody help me. Get me out of this thing. This is the last of AA. Screaming, screaming. A new baby cried lustily in the bedroom of a New York tenement. Both mother and midwife grinned happily, sweat running down their faces. Click.
So now what happened? In the last paragraph, the entry point, there's a slit. Now you have to jump through it, right? And then the next paragraph, which we just read, is basically the birthing process. So now he has come into this world, into this reality as a baby.
BB flickered. Is that all? AA lighted. That's only the beginning. BB turned in. Some beginning. You weren't very happy. Oh, after a bit, I learned. Did I learn? There's so much I can't get it all into one route. What's wrong? I'm getting a wild percept. AA blanked. From where? BB smoothed. Never mind, let's get on home. We're going to have to pull at least 4 skips to get back to KT95 on our own. So, home? I can't go back yet. AA vibrated rapidly. Sure you can. No. Now come on, AA. I had only 45 years. Then I got sick. I didn't get to finish.
So now what is happening? Now AA is starting to get a little addicted, right? Or he wants to experience the experience again. So what does this mean? He lived for 45 years and he exited. Now he wants to go back.
BB smoothed. Whatever 45 years is, that's enough. Come on. I can't, AA flickered violently. I have only half the experience. BB blanked. Half? I was a male this last time. Now I'm going to be female. BB blanked completely. Male, female.
So
That's
now
right.
we need to understand that when we are coming here, we really want to experience all the experiences. So if I came as a male, I want to experience the female. If I was slapped, I want to experience getting slapped. If I was a businessman, I want to experience being an administrator. If I was an administrator, I want to experience being a worker. If I was a worker, I want to experience being a driver. So all the experiences you will want to experience over here, right? So this is what is happening here. So again, he'll come back and say, again, I want to experience that experience. So what is happening? He's getting caught in the cycle.
So Mangala, can I ask a question?
Yeah, of course.
You're saying if you experience one, you want to experience the opposite.
Correct.
But yesterday we talked about escape, and don't you want to like not yearn for that, or not?
So when you start understanding that this is not the, I mean, this is not the end all and for all, and we actually came from somewhere else, right? Only then you transcend it. But like now, this experience gets pretty addictive. So you want to experience all the particular experiences there are. So you want to keep coming back till you come to a certain point of awareness where you realize that this is not important anymore. And as per the Gita, all your Sanchit Vasanas are taken care of. There are no more Sanchit Vasanas left. So only the last life, whatever the prarabdha is, you're going to experience it and then you're going to transcend. So developing escape velocity is what? I've experienced and everything, or I have detached from the experiences. So again, in the Gita, they keep talking about detachment, right? So if you are attached to something, you will come back. But if you're detached, it is there, you're not really bothered by it, then you're not going to come back. Or you develop that ability not to come back here and you've developed escape velocity.
So the vasanas, we want to exhaust them and go through every experience, and then we will.
Correct.
Be
or
aware.
You have awareness that these are things which are holding us back and we need to transcend them. At the end, any attachment you have is a vasana, it's a desire. So even coming for this session is a vasana, right? Till you exhaust it, you're going to keep coming back. The day the vasana is exhausted, you won't come.
Okay.
I
Got
have
it.
a
Thank you.
Can I say something?
Yeah, of course, auntie.
Uh, if I have an attachment for a person, so does that mean that I have to come back again, or the other person will?
Possibly you may want to experience the same kind of experience, or you want to experience a similar kind of experience. इसलिए
So that,
बोलते हैं ना, जन्म जन्म का साथ है.
so that other person has to come also.
Naturally, if that other person wants to come again, that other person also has free will, na? Whether to come or not.
Yeah, okay, thank you.
That's why they say that we must not have attachment. So if you are too attached with your spouse, then you'll have to come back. But if you are clear that, okay, I'm experiencing this experience, I need to learn from this experience, and then I need to transcend into another experience. So then you will move on to bigger experiences, but it doesn't mean that you forget your experience with your spouse or the other people that you met. This we saw in Celestine prophecy when they talked about the soul groups. So the soul group is coming to help them to achieve something, right? So like that, we also have helping spirits around us who are always trying to help us to get us back onto our life journey that we had decided to experience when we were born over here. So this agreement that we signed, this is what we want to experience, is clearly written over there. But when we walk into this life experience, we forget that, right? Because it said over there clearly, the knowledge before this experience, there's a memory vibe. When we come back, then we again acknowledge that.
Okay, but isn't it a punishment for the other person? Suppose I have a vasana for attachment.
No. So that it doesn't mean that that person will come. You can have another person who wants to experience that same thing.
Thank you.
Another entity can be there, right?
That's right, old buddy, and they're as different as that's what I'm going to find out. BB hardened. You're in trouble. Trouble? What trouble? You got the pre-brief wrote. AA flickered. Of course I got it. Then you know what's happening. AA blanked. Know what? BB smoothed. AA, you're getting hooked. You're. The huge portal loomed ahead, a myriad of vibrations. AA was fading into the massive portal along with the others. BB vibrated as strongly as he could. AA, no, wait! With a strange wave, AA disappeared. BB dulled and closed and moved away from the stream. Sorry, kid, Ed came in gently. I didn't think you had a chance of a snowball in hell, but I had to let you try. BB dulled. What happens now? If he or she follows the pattern, he or she will get more and more involved in the human experience, dropping down a ring each time until he or she is at the bottom. BB flickered, still dulled. Then what? Ed opened wide, carefully. They stay at the bottom and don't come back, or they begin to work their way back up. Most of them stay at the bottom.
So now, Asha auntie, I think this answers your question very clearly, and even another, that you're getting deeper and deeper and deeper into the experience till you hit the rock bottom. And then you come to a realization that, okay, this is the rock bottom, now I need to go back up. So today, everyone who's attending, let's say the awareness talks or these Gita talks or whatever, is coming to a realization now we need to move up, right? We need to move up the ladder and get out again. So that understanding is coming, that awakening is coming, that desire or even that vasana for moksha, that is coming in. So that is what the escape velocity is all about.
BB dulled. Go on home, kid. Back to KT 95. BB dulled and closed completely. He slowly drifted out of the station, flickering dimly. The haze was less, filled with occasional clean signals which did not have his ident. Thus, they did not attract or penetrate, and so were ignored. Then a faint percept did penetrate. BB popped open. A form was moving past him. He vibrated, stretched. AA, you did it. You broke out. How? The form stopped, motionless. BB pulled back quickly. It was not AA. Click. BB opened wide. I got my idents crossed. That's why I hooked you. I folded the road back in slowly. You have a problem, all right. Then there was a strong signal to return to the physical. I had a problem. 2. I had the percept of BB in total blank, and I must have receded almost instantaneously. I picked up the second, went back to physical, took a deep breath, and looked for the problem. The dog was barking again to go outdoors.
So now who do you think this was? And who do you think AA was? Anyone answering? No one. So AA is actually Robert Monroe. Okay, so AA went into that experience. He's come from BB with BB. He's experiencing the experience and he was going out of body. And that's when he bumped into BB. And they had that conversation in the beginning of this chapter.
Chapter 11, Rescue Mission. Time 3:55 a.m. Full physical wakefulness, usual conditions plus the not so usual recognition of inspec homing signal presence in this consciousness. Followed normal rollout. Signal was strong, moved upward and out, through rings, past intermediate area, stopped, was stopped. Feeling of tiredness, hadn't been aware of it before. No more homing signal. I was there. So were they. Great sense of warmth, companionship, more. Mr. Monroe, when it came in that way, I was never sure it meant work or play, if I could possibly tell the difference, or something else. It was something else. Some alignment and balance are needed. I opened wide. Click. A huge white dog, 3 times the size of our beloved steamboat. What a name for such a nice little dog. Has him by the neck. The massive jaws firmly shaking. Steamboat back and forth in quick jerks. Steamboat's body already swinging limply. No, no, I can't let it happen. Is it really Steamboat? It is. He's dead. Steamboat's dead. I'll kill that big son of a bitch. He'll never. Click.
So now what is happening? These guys, the inspect said that there needs to be some adjustment in your system, and they are taking him through some experiences in order to allow that adjustment to take place in his consciousness. So they are using the example or making him experience a reality where his dog is getting troubled. Now, what is his reaction to that is what they are looking for, whether he's operating from a higher state of consciousness or a lower state of consciousness.
Click. Reset. A huge white dog, 3 times the size of Steamboat, has him by the neck, in massive jaws that are swinging Steamboat from side to side. Steamboat hanging limply. Steamboat's dead, dead. What a tragedy. I'll miss him, I'll miss him. Let go, big dog, so I can take what's left and click, reset. A big white dog, much larger than Steamboat, has him by the neck and is swinging Steamboat back and forth. Steamboat hanging relaxed, eyes closed. Well, little fellow, if that's the way it is, thanks for staying around as long as you did. We had fun together. You gave me a lot of rope that's always will be a part of me. Still in the jaws of the big white dog, Steamboat raises his head slightly, opens one eye, winks at me and grins. Click. I was calm and relaxed. The tiredness was gone. More than that, my energy was strong and clear. Thank you. Happy to be of service. I rolled. Dogs will bark. Now you can move to your friend from the other system. He is lost. He will need your help.
So,
I figured.
so the last one was the right reaction that the inspects wanted him to make, right? So naturally his tiredness also disappeared because he made the right reaction. Now they are telling him that go and help your friend BB.
I flickered. I'm not sure I can help him. We will be with you. It is important that you help him. I blanked. Important? Important to you. We interrupted your signal so that you would perceive him. As you put it, time will tell. I smoothed. Shall I make him aware of you? Not yet. Take this. How do you say it? Wrote with you, and perhaps he can use it. We call it the BHP1. I opened wide. Sure. The rote came to me and I tucked it away. I turned and focused ident BB, KT95. There was some motion, and there he was, still in the haze and flickering. BB vibrated. What happened? You faded out, then back. Somebody pull a skip on you? I blanked. Pull a skip? What's that? Well, when we want to move from one pattern to another, we, pull a skip. If you catch somebody wide open and you get in just right, you can pull their skip and they're off somewhere before they get a percept. I flickered. Why would you want to do that? BB rolled. It's a game, fun. I rolled with him. At least you're open now. So somebody did pull a skip on you. I smoothed. No, not exactly. Even a skip leaves a trace. No one I ever met could do what you just did. Neat. What was it? I flickered. Well, I had to take care of something. BB blanked. Take care of what? I smoothed. My body. What body? I rolled. My physical body, of course. My physical human body. I still got one and it still works. BB closed tightly, then opened slowly. How? I mean, why? A what? I don't know. It simply happened. I'm trying to find out the why. BB turned inward, then opened. You're one of those slippery eels. I blanked, turned in. Part of Ed's road came up. I rolled strongly. I guess that's as good a percept as any. BB rolled, then hardened. What about AA? Any more I can do? We'll try. You need a better percept of what's taking place. BB turned inward. I don't want any real rote of the stuff. I sure don't want to get addicted. I smoothed. This rote won't do that. As a matter of fact, it'll begin an inoculation process. BB blanked. Inoculation? You can choose better. I'll push it slowly, catch the edge. If you don't like it, don't take it in. BB opened slowly. I eased the BHP1 rote they gave me at him, and it spun slowly as he cautiously touched it. There was a long moment when everything stopped. No movement, no response. Then there was a click, and the entire rote slipped into him. BB turned inward and closed. I waited patiently. We were drifting slowly out where the haze was thinner. I had only two idents at this point. I either go back to where they were or back to the physical. I had nothing on AA, only part of BB's route, which wasn't enough. It had to come from BB. I couldn't find AA for him. BB turned inward, opened. It's all new to me. Real rote, huh? Yep. And what's and that's what AA got himself into? Yep. BB blanked. This isn't your rote? Where did you get it? I spooned. Couple of friends of mine. Most of the rote was new to me too. I at least I didn't have a percept like that. BB hardened. Well now, I got a hook on what's going on. A little complicated, but once AA has a percept of this quality, he'll jump right out of the mess. I flickered. There's a little more to it, you see. What do we do next? I guess catch your friend when he comes out again, if you can find him. BB smoothed. I couldn't find AA inside a black hole. Are you coming? BB had the percept that I would follow, and he was right. He dove into the haze, and I was behind him, homing on his ident. We did a complete run through the ring where he had found AA previously. Not a flick. I was fairly sure that would be the case, which was bad news. Bad news for BB. There was always a chance that if AA was in the outer ring, BB might convince him to pull out and let go. Bad news for AA? No one could make that percept, not even AA at this point. In my few stopovers in the outer ring, it had always been utterly fascinating, the mix, particularly the last timers, those who knowingly were about to make their final recycle. They gave off a radiation that was unforgettable, tremendous vital power that seemed totally under control. Within that strength were all of the values and ideals that humans hold important, not in time space context, not in external control systems that demanded performance in a specific manner, but something entirely apart, something learned from being human. Most important, all under control, all a cooperating, melding part of the whole. They were completely open. You could get a percept easily of the crucible of human experience that formulated such greatness, if you could handle it. I tried once and it was too much. I returned to the physical and was wistful for days thereafter. The key was that they got that way from being human. They were not that way at first entry.
So again, these are the people, the great sages, the spirits, or the great ones who come back to actually help the others who are in this life experience, right? And they have that feeling of pure love, so that these people are highly spiritual beings who animate a very powerful field of love, peace, and energy that can uplift the total of human society.
But now it was different. Their radiation had a familiar resonance, and I wondered why this was so. In the last time around, they evidently closed it all down. Part of the vitality seeps through. It really all can't be closed off. Yet they don't select history, making roles in that final run. They've probably performed such previously. They are inconspicuous, the mail clerk, the plain dirt farmer, the sailor, the bookkeeper, not gathered as a group, but quietly spotted here and there in both time and place.
So again, Nagarji also keeps saying that the self-realized personality acts very normally, and he's not going to keep on saying I'm self-realized, right? In the normal world, you won't even understand who they are. You need to perceive it, you need to feel their presence, you need to feel their energy to be able to understand that yes, they are at a higher level of consciousness, and they can be anywhere doing anything.
If you ask their destination upon completion, most simply respond with a gentle warmth, home. The percept comes out that way, but there's an overtone, a flavor, a nuance that is only slightly familiar.
So again, what is their destination? What are you going to do? They say home. Now, what is home is different for everyone. This happened when Bill Blumen was giving us a talk. That was last March. It's nearly a year now. I think we had his talk on the 24th and it's already the 23rd. So एक साल हो गया ये चक्कर को चलते हुए. And someone asked him, are you going to come back? And he very clearly said, I am on the way out. I am not coming back. Okay. Having experienced that experience of going there and created that escape velocity in himself, he has very clearly stated he is not coming back. So he's got rid of all his vasanas, technically speaking, from that perspective.
Yes, BB, there is much beyond the cold data. You pay the price and you get what you pay for, one way or another. How do you tell a fish what it's like on dry land? You don't try.
So you pay the price.
Hey,
You pay the price and you get what you pay for. So over here, I think he is referring to karma, right? So whatever you do, you will get it back.
hey, I thought you were with me, BB Cuttin. I opened. I am. He's not in this mob. Now what? I smoothed down another ring. I turned with BB close to me and we moved quickly into the lower A's. It had a different texture. Actually, from this point, it was difficult to determine where one ring began and the other ended. A part of it was familiar to me. I had attended class here for a while. I hadn't been closed enough. What kind of class? BB cut in. Where you learn how to help those who are still in a physical body. BB rolled. AA wouldn't be here. Nobody could teach him anything. I turned inward. If you say so.
So again, there are various kinds of classes to achieve various things. Most of us, when we are going into delta sleep, we are actually attending these classes.
BB darted outward and down, and I joined his descent. We began to enter the familiar cleared areas in the haze. Houses, parks, fields of growing plants, woods, forests, large buildings, rows of churches. It went on endlessly. Humanoid forms were busily occupying themselves in numerous earth type activities. BB flickered. Haze is sure thick. What are they doing? I smoothed. What they want to do? Just milling around like that? Some are fixing up their houses, some are working. Let's see. Others are playing golf. There is a poker game going on in that building over there. BB cut in. What building over where? I don't get a percept on anything. I flickered. No building? No. No houses, streets, trees, fields. First, human type forms moving around and a lot of haze. I blanked and turned inward. The constructs, all of them were not physical matter, so BB ought to be able to get percept of them in some manner. The temporaries knew they were non-physical. They built all of this to be in familiar surroundings while they thought over and prepared for their next human cycle. Built it out of. I lighted. BB had no ident on such. Thus, he couldn't pull a percept. It was strictly humans only.
So when the people are there in the disembodied state, they create realities. So what Robert Monroe termed as locale 2 and what we could look at as the belief system territories and focus 27, where we actually create environments that we are familiar with. Do we stop here? I think we can stop here.